good evening and welcome to everybody to this week's episode of Your Manchester. On the show tonight, we are going to be looking at the new exhibition at the Manchester Museum. As if that's not enough, we're also talking to Siva from The Wanted, embarking upon a new musical called Bamba. And we're also going to be talking to Aitken Waterman and the creators behind I Should Be So Lucky. This is how your show's looking. Well, we have just arrived here now at the Lawn Club. It's a rainy day outside, but for some reason in here today, it feels like summer is shining. That's because we're here for the launch of I Should Be So Lucky, a brand new musical that is coming to Manchester, because Manchester gets it first very, very soon. Now, it features the music of Aitken Waterman and is set to be an absolute wonderfulness. That's what I'm going to use the word, wonderfulness. So make sure you book your tickets. In the meantime, let's see exactly what's going on.
I can't ask for more. I'll come if you should go.
We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say.
My name is Gemma Church and I play the Nan.
Like your character.
And I'm Jamie Chapman, and I play Spencer, the hotel manager.
Spencer, the hotel manager. This looks like it's going to be sensational.
It's going to be fantastic fun. None of us know what we're doing,
No.
how the show's going to end, how we're going to resolve the story, but we will in rehearsals.
That's all that matters, isn't it? So tell us a bit more about your characters then. You're playing the Nan,
Ivy, she's had enough of men,
right?
and she's the Grammy,
Yeah.
and she's very sort of, I would say she's strong,
Yeah.
but sentimental.
What's your character in this then?
Well, I'm the hotel manager who has himself known heartbreak, but it makes him really empathetic, and so when Ella, the leading lady who's been jilted, turns up, he sort of takes her under his wing.
Yes.
So I'm playing a nice and sort of think fairy godfather.
Well, we need a fairy godfather as much as a fairy godmother, don't
All
we?
need one.
Hey? So who are you playing in this then? You seem to be coming across as giving me best man vibes.
Exactly that.
Is that right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the best man. I'm a chap called Ash, and I think he speaks a lot of times before he actually thinks about what he's doing. He acts instead of actually thinking about what he's doing. But he tries to solve the issue afterwards. If he creates an issue, he then problem solves. So yeah, he's great fun. He's great
You
fun.
seem to get the Ricasta song as well in this.
What's a banger, eh?
Hey?
What a banger. Now that's sort of a little bit to do with my arc in the story, my storyline. You know, once you see it, it's I never give up on something or someone.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And these songs, you must remember them.
Like when I was auditioning for, doing the process.
Hello,
mate.
Hiya.
He wanted to be in the interview. That's what it was. Just wanted to be a part. So I basically was auditioning, doing the process and whatever, and obviously I knew all the tunes anyway. But then on the website, soluckymusical.com, they've got a playlist on it, and I just was going through it, and I was just like, stop it. Every single one, I was like, this is a tune, great song, and each different one gives you a different feels as well. Do you know what I mean? I mean, more often than not, more often than not, they're a floor filler, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like wicked, just great songs.
They are.
Great
So
songs.
You're looking forward to doing this then?
I literally cannot wait. You
seem to get all the shows that start live here in Manchester, don't you?
Well, is there anything wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing.
This is the only place that I want to
Maybe
be right
that's your
now.
destiny.
Yeah,
Maybe when you go for auditions in the future, find out if they're opening in Manchester, then you know you've got the job.
yeah. Should do that, shouldn't I?
Aitken Waterman, Debbie Isitt. I mean, does it get any better? I have to thank you from the camp gods above, first of all for the music, and then secondarily, we'll have that, for the new show that is literally going to be, I think, the best thing since sliced bread. But let's go back, first of all, to the music. I mean, there's a certain beat and tempo and instrument that's used in all of your songs.
Yeah.
What's the magic behind it?
It was just that we just knew what made people dance. So that was the basis. If people can dance, people can smile, that's the basis.
Well, you were getting a lot of backlash when these songs were
Oh, but we
coming
didn't
out.
care about that.
But why were you getting backlash?
Because nobody else was doing it.
Because I reckon now, people looking back, they would say the soundtrack of their growing up times, of my sort of generation, would probably say Aitken Waterman.
Yeah, but nobody wanted to, they all were into the Smiths and happy music, and we were just having fun.
Maybe that's what it was. It was about having fun. But how do you take the songs that you're having fun with and put them and weave them into a musical?
Yeah, well, you know, the songs are brilliant songs, and when you start to unpick them and you listen to the story of the lyrics, and they are little stories within the songs. And in a good musical, the songs will be used to push the story on, not just to be sung for their own sake, you know. So actually, they were a really brilliant tool to help write the story. And I just absorbed the feelings, really, the uplifting feelings, the sad feelings, just the emotion of it. And it just seemed to weave itself, to be honest.
And how precious have you guys been with the reinterpretation of obviously some of the music that we need to be slowed down to fit into a particular thing? How precious have you guys been with that?
We're coming to terms with it.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult, you know.
Yeah.
You write these in a certain way. Musical theatre is very different, and that's been a learning curve for us. And we're still not quite there yet. We will get there.
Yeah.
Because when you see it, it works.
Yeah.
But you've got to see it work. You know what I mean? When somebody said we're going to slow, we're going to do this, you go, well, you know, but no, you've seen it today. It works.
That's amazing. And you must have felt a bit like trepidation, thinking, right, we do need to slow it down there, or we do need to speed up one of their songs there. I mean, do you feel like you're literally stepping on a Bible?
Yes, in a way, but you sort of have to break down the songs in order to tell the story, you know. And that's not to say you don't want to honour them, because you do, and they are amazing, you know. But you have to tell the story, and if the story requires the song to be slow and like a ballad, and then be much quicker than it was, that's the energy of live theatre, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can't just reproduce the songs as they were as a track, because that won't tell the story. That's all. So it is different.
What is the story then?
So the story is really about a jilted bride who goes on her honeymoon, and her whole family go with her. She doesn't want them to, but they do. And everybody on the honeymoon is transformed by the honeymoon, because it's all of their honeymoons, it seems. So they meet people, they test their relationships, some fall in love, some fall out of love with the people at home. You know, everybody is touched and moved by this experience. So it really is, it's a story about love, and it's character driven. Everybody will relate to the characters, you know, they're all fun, they're all real.
We've seen that from today.
Just even from today, yes. So, and it's funny, you know, it's comedic, but it's also really touching and moving at times. So it's got everything you want and a good night out at the theatre.
Well, speaking of touching and moving, we saw you on the stage before getting a bit emotional because of some of the songs and the memories that you obviously associate with these songs.
Right, yeah. No, that's genuine. I mean, you know, when you see, especially for you, a song live like this, you know, you write those songs in a bit of a vacuum. We literally had less than 2 hours to write that song, and here we are 40 years later. You see two people singing it, and you realise what you've created. You know, you realise suddenly it's not Kylie and Jason, so you haven't got the hype of the two biggest stars at the time. It's a song, and the lyrics are very, very important, and it gets to you. You think, you know, did I write that?
Yeah.
Did I, you know, am I part of that? It's unbelievable.
And how do you both feel knowing that you are literally, I mean, you're continuing on this legacy now of these soundtracks, these songs. But I mean, how does it make you feel knowing that you are literally music creating soundtrack of a generation?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I still pinch myself, you know, it's like, like a lady, you know, just talked to me about a sister had died and she played at the funeral, especially for you. And I get that all the time, but that's what your songs have done. They've touched people enough that at the funeral of someone they love, they play it. I mean, that's amazing. You know, as a school kid and as a bad musician, I never thought, you know, people would be stopping me in my 70s and saying, your song was so special, my grandma's funeral, that's what we played. It's like, whoa, it's amazing.
They spoke volumes, and you're going to continue this on by keeping this musical so fantastic and honouring the music of Aitken Waterman. What would you say are the three ingredients for people that they should book to come and see this show?
The songs, the story, and the cast. I mean, all of those three things are top notch, you know, amazing, and they all work together so well. I mean, I keep saying the songs are the star of the show, and they are. They really are. But you know, you could just go to a concert. But this has got to be a story delivered by brilliant actors, and the actors are amazing. And as you know, we've got Kylie as well coming in.
Sorry, what was that again? Sorry.
We've got Kylie coming in.
We've got Kylie coming in, everybody.
Coming in.
Yes.
So she's appearing digitally,
Yes.
you know, as the fairy godmother kind of character in the mirror. But she's a really good character. She's funny and feisty.
See, every minute that we've been here today, we're learning something new. I mean, let's just face it, it's going to be fantastic.
I mean, I don't see why not. Hey, it's got all the ingredients. So let's just hope that cake rises.
Indeed. And just before we go, thank you for your music, because
My
it's
pleasure.
literally a soundtrack to my generation
My pleasure.
and helped me an awful lot with everything I was kind of going through. So thank you so much. Make sure you check it out. I Should Be So Lucky. Book right now. Still to come tonight, we're going to be looking at the new exhibition at the Manchester Museum and speaking to Siva from The Wanted. La Bamba!
For the next 12 months, me and Fingers hit the gas. Pedal to the metal, needle to the disc, and we don't look back. We're never in the cave and we're always playing gigs, playing Fingers mixes, learning how to blend tracks live, understanding how to please a crowd, how to control them, how to move them, how to surprise them, how to soothe them, learning the rush of power you can feel when you place the perfect disc on that spinning wheel, and the bodies in the room undergo a shift as they hear a sound they didn't think could exist. Arms flail, knees bend, eyes close, souls mend, and they look to me as their master, their god. At first I think that I haven't done a thing, I've just played a record, no more than that. Then I think of the times I've been on the floor, and I get that feeling where I know I need more, but I don't know what, so I let the DJ decide. And the song they play seems to coincide with the tempest of feelings I'm feeling inside. If I'm sad, that's okay, if I'm happy, that's great. The music takes on my emotional state and amplifies it up to 100 decibels loud. So my thoughts and emotions are a part of the sound that everyone's moving to, two-stepping in time. It's a therapy session without words or complication, turning heartbreak and anxiety into physical liberation. That's the power of music. That's the power of dance. When you're stuck inside your head with your trauma on repeat, take the power from your brain and direct it to your feet. In the dark and the smoke, as you invent new postures and dig your heels into the ground, you'll find for a moment you're not crazy, you're not hurting, you're not selfish, you're not ashamed. You're found.
Well, how can one decision alter a story forever? La Bamba tells the story of the power of music and how it can transform a generation and celebrate a community. La Bamba is a jaw-dropping musical that combines the Latin R&B and a timeless rock and ultimate feel-good story. Joining us now is one of their cast members. It's Siva, everybody, who you may recognise from that very fabulous pop group, The Wanted. So nice to finally speak to you. How are you?
Hello, darling. You're right.
Tell us all about La Bamba then. What's it all about?
Well, La Bamba is a story based on Richie Valens, who sang the original song La Bamba. If you've heard it before, it goes like la 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 Bamba. That's the way my family sings it. And it's basically a reimagination of that story with a female lead, and about Richie Valens, of honouring him, and that mixed with salsa and cumbia and bachata and Spanish and Spanglish.
Which is probably where you come into this then, isn't it? So what part are you playing within this then, Siva?
I'm playing Mateo. I'm playing the lead, Sophia's best friend and support. Basically her rocking the show.
Now, there's some corkers of songs in this, isn't there? I mean, just looking at the list here, we've got La Vida Loca, Hips Don't Lie, Viva La Mi Vida, Havana, and all these things, and of course La Bamba. So what is it that leans you towards liking this kind of music?
Well, I live in Los Angeles. I've been there for 8 years. I come back and forth between the UK and Los Angeles, and there's a massive Latin community there. And yeah, I've come to love it so much. So when I was contacted to be in the show, I was obviously terrified because I'm not the best dancer, but I was so excited to kind of just be engrossed in it and to learn some Latin dance moves and to learn some Spanish and be engrossed in the culture.
So there you've been doing that then. How has the dancing been going then? Have you learnt lots of moves now?
Yeah, I've learned lots of moves. I'm sweating right now. You just pulled me out of It's honestly, it's really great to loosen the hips. and get downstairs loose.
Now, this sounds like it's going to be a non-stop, exhilarating and quite exhausting for you guys musical. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's basically it's a dance musical, but it shows mostly the Latin community, and I don't think there's a pause in the whole show. It just goes straight through with Latin dance and music. So
you're not just being taught by anybody. You've got Strictly Come Dancing's Graziano De Palma teaching you these dances. How's the relationship with him going?
I'm not going to lie, I've got a massive man crush on Graziano. I've never seen someone so talented and so good looking. Like he's such a charmer, and it's his accent, and he's got the whole package.
It's got quite a good story as well, hasn't it? Perhaps tell us a little bit more about the story.
Yeah, the story is about it's like I said, it's the reimagination of Richie Valens. Richie Valens, he passed when he was 17 after he released La Bamba. He was only out for 7 months, as a musician. So he died quite young, and that was, I don't know how many years ago, over 50 years ago. And so this is a retelling of that story, but through the lens of modern day with social media. It also has a political story to tell in America, and also involves COVID too. So it's all that intertwined in a fantastic fiesta.
It sounds like it's going to be fantastic. You've got some interesting costumes to wear as well for this.
We're wearing nothing, basically nothing, in true Latin style. You're going to see a lot of skin. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
5,000 more tickets, doesn't it? I tell you. Yeah,
there's lots of colour. And,
I like that.
Definitely enjoy it.
Now, listen, this is coming to the Lowry from the 17th to the 19th of August. It's only a little short run, so perhaps tell people why they should. Well, I mean, you basically have done, but why should people come and see this show?
People should come because it's an exposure to a different culture. It's hot, it's sexy, and it's just a party. And you get to learn some Spanish words, and you also hear some of your favourite English tracks from Latin America, from all over the world.
I'm very much looking forward to this. For now, though, Siva, thank you so much for your time today. And everybody, make sure you get yourself to the Lowry on the 17th to the 19th of August to check out La 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 Bamba. Thanks very much, Siva. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Well, we're here at the Manchester Museum, and what's apparent is once again they've managed to pull off the fact that these aren't just exhibitions, they're not just things that are randomly placed there. These are all things about people, no more so than their latest exhibition, which is here now. We spoke to Faisal a little bit earlier on, the curator of this particular exhibition, and he told us so much more about it. And now we're joined here by Faisal. Now, where are we and what is this all about?
So we are in the South Asia Gallery, which is a new gallery devoted to the history of South Asia and South Asian people here in Britain. We're here to show our first exhibition to do with our collection called Request Line.
And what's that all about then?
So Request Line is the first short film that tells the story about rescuing one of the largest South Asian record collections in Birmingham, and tells the story of where the records were played, who collected them initially, and what we're now trying to do to keep them safe and archive them.
So how long has it taken you to create this kind of exhibition then?
So the story is about 5 years long, but in the last 2 years we've done quite a lot of work in archiving, which is essentially looking through everything, listing it, photographing it. So this is our first outing where we show what we've been up to, what it's about, and putting it into a kind of present day context.
And you mentioned that there's some postcards from people as well that are associated with these music.
Yeah, so what we were saying was that what really is important about this collection, what we discovered were that there were request notes for people to want different songs played, because this record collection was played at the BBC. So the notes basically talk about all sorts of things as well as requests. So they talk about, one note is, from prison, which talks about guys who want to hear something to do with love while they're in prison. There's another one which is to do with someone who again is in love with someone, but but has a song that needs to be played for them. And then there are other notes that are just really annoyed that their song doesn't get played and that they're not going to write again. So it's a nice way of looking at how and what people were up to around that time.
And how's it felt for you creating this exhibition then?
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It's a real big honour. It's sometimes heavy lifting because everyone wants everything from a lot of stuff. But luckily, I've had some great people to help me: friends, family, other artists, archivists. So I'm nervous, but I'm excited that it can be shown in Manchester particularly.
So why is it important for people to come to this museum and see this then?
I think what people want from the museum is changing, and I think that's why it's quite important for something like this, which is still a work in progress. Like the museums now, in terms of what museums are trying to do, in terms of representation, is changing.
Yeah.
So therefore, I think that's why it's quite an important time and quite an important place for people to come.
Exactly. Now this is an exhibition for people. Where can people find it? How long can people look at it for? Give us all the dates and all the details.
So we are on from today till I believe it's August the 21st. It's at the Manchester Museum, which is part of Manchester University. And then hopefully we will be on tour. But what we're really interested in is trying to collect people's requests and their memories in the same way that the postcards are displayed. We want your history and your memories of these songs, and not just these songs, maybe others. So do get in touch.
Largest of its kind, so people are saying.
Yes, it's one of the largest. We have approximately 3,000. We're missing a few, but we're looking to get more. And this is just one genre. There are so many genres that are specific up and down the country, and I think this is just one example, but there are similar projects to do with reggae in London. There are similar localised projects to do with hip-hop. There's stuff to do with disco. There's all of this rich history. So, excuse me. So I hope we can see more of this kind of thing.
I think it's fantastic. Make sure you check this out. Join us next week for a fantastic show here on Your Manchester. Everybody's talking about Jamie with the one and only John Partridge and of course Hayley Tamerden. There's so much more as well. So make sure you check it out only on Your Manchester. Jamie Tamil, no. I thought that was an exhibition you just sat on there. That's why I went into. I was like, oh my God, don't sit on that. Right, you ready? Here we go. Why is it always here that